I'd like to show a game that I played very recently with the black pieces. I thought that it was quite a funny game. So let's see what happened. It was a blitz game, by the way. Okay, d4, knight to f6, bishop g5, knight to e4. This is a Tromp, h4, and I see this quite often. I think black has a number of options. One is c5, one is d5, one is h6, and I think knight takes g5 is possible, but it does open up this rook file, and I'm not so convinced about that. So I think I'll play the main move here, c5, and okay, d takes c5, and again I believe I'll play the main move, queen a5 check. He played knight d2, also the main move. And here I played, well, normally I suppose black plays bishop take, knight takes g5, so the bishop is, well, traded off. That would leave black with a bishop pair. But instead of that, I developed a piece. I had no idea whether or not this was part of opening theory, but when you look at it, knight to c6, it does make sense. I mean, you do develop a piece, and you still have the threat to take back the pawn, or just exchange pieces over here, and then win the pawn. So he played c3, and the idea with c3 is obviously, I can't take with the knight, because if I take with the knight, then he will play b4, and I'll lose a piece for a pawn. So I play the main move, knight takes d2. I can still take the bishop over here and then take the pawn on c5. But I play knight takes d2, which is part of, well, the main move. And here he played queen takes d2, but it turns out that the main move is actually b4. So I suppose that's the reason why you shouldn't go into this anyway. I'm not saying that black is worse, but white does keep his pawn for a moment at least. Okay, but he played queen takes d2, and here I took back the pawn. He played, we were out of book now, I believe, yeah. Okay, so he played e4, I played e6, bishop e3, since the bishop wasn't really doing anything on g5 anyway. I would suggest actually that black takes the bishop earlier, because even though it kind of buys into white's idea here, which is that when black takes, he gets this open rook file, but I don't know. But on the other hand, black does have the bishop pair in that case. Okay, so I'll play queen a5, expecting b4, but as we can see in a moment here, b4 is not even possible, so we'll see that in a minute. Okay, bishop c4, b5, and here he did play b4, which is a mistake, because of the knight takes b4. He can't take back, because if he takes my knight, I will take back with the bishop, and he will lose his queen. I think I was expecting something like rook to b1 here, but he didn't do that, so he played bishop b3, I played bishop b7. I still don't have to worry about this knight. Okay, he played f3, and here I played d5, a very useful move. Now that if he takes, I can just take back with the knight, or even the bishop, probably the knight. And here he played a4. I still don't have to worry about that, because he can't take my pawn on b5 anyway. I played bishop e7, just developing my pieces here. Knight e2, d takes e4. I still don't have to worry about anything. And here I play king f2, and I do have to worry about something, because if I don't move this knight, I'm going to lose it. So I'll play knight d3 check. He played king g3, and obviously I was looking at, if ever necessary, I can play queen c7 check. So I'll just castle away, no threats yet. He played knight d4. I'll play queen c7 check. Maybe I could have played a6 first, but I think it's better this way. Okay, check, king h3, b takes a4. It's no use to play a6, because he can just take on b5 anyway, and when I take back I lose a pawn, so I'll take the pawn. Maybe I could have tried b4 as well, but I took the pawn anyway. There's no reason to make a big deal out of anything like that. So he took the pawn. I played knight c5, attacking the rook. Okay, rook c4, probably a mistake. After queen d7 I actually have a couple of threats. The main idea is to play e5 and he's going to lose this knight, which actually happened anyway. So he played bishop c2, attacking my pawn, at least it looks like it. But after e5, check. I discovered check, obviously. He's going to lose the knight on d4. He could move the knight. No, he can't move the knight. What am I saying? Of course he can't move the knight. I mean, he's in check. But I was looking at an earlier point that he could have moved his knight somewhere, because, for example, here we could just move his knight to, I don't know, c2 or wherever. But anyway, so he played g4 just to cover that check, and I'll take the knight. He took my pawn, and then I went back to d3. Kind of funny to how this knight is jumping back and forth, but this, well, it's not a mistake. Perhaps if he takes my pawn I can take back, and if he takes my knight I can take his rook, so it's barely hanging in there. Okay, so he took the knight, I took back, so we won a pawn. But on the other hand, after bishop a6 he can't move his rook, because then I will just take the queen, so he put the other rook on c1. I suppose I could try rook c8 here, perhaps rook 8 c8. But I just play the simple move. Bishop takes rook, and then I put the rook on c8, and we had exchanges here, so I'm obviously up a whole rook here. And here at h5, he can't take the pawn and he can't play g5, so he can just stand there. With the queen d2, I just took the pawn, and again, sometimes there's no reason to rush. I could have played rook d8, or just anything, because this pawn isn't going anywhere. H takes g4, f takes g4, rook d8, but the pawn is dropping off anyway. Queen e3, bishop f6, queen e4, and now just took the pawn. And here we actually lost on time, but obviously completely lost. So what do you do here with the white pieces? Well, if you trade, you have nothing against, basically, well, you have a queen against a queen and a rook, which is in this position basically nothing. So, I mean, there's no reason to analyze this. It's completely lost. But I think the opening was a little bit special. I see this h4 move quite often. Sometimes I take, sometimes I don't. Like in this game, I just play the main move. d5 is possible. Perfectly fine. I think h6 is also fine. But anyway, c5, I think you just, when you play c5, you're just sticking to the main ideas. And after takes, but I'm not so sure if knight to c6 is such a good move, to be honest. And after c3, yeah, I think c3 is the whole point here, because when you take this knight, white is going to play b4 on the next move. So if you don't like that kind of stuff, perhaps it's better to leave it alone. But of course, you could also take this bishop over here, and then if now b4, you can even play queen a3, and then when he takes back over here, you win the pawn anyway. I suppose that's one way. But after we play knight takes d2, and after b4, well, you can play queen a3, and then let's say queen takes, and after h6, queen c1, queen a4. Sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to win back that pawn. I'm not even sure if it's possible, to be honest. So I think it's better to just either take the bishop over here, or just, I don't know. Maybe you could even play knight takes d2 over here, in this position, like this, and then you take the pawn. I think it's better to just make sure that you win back the pawn. Anyway, so I hope you enjoy this game, and I'll see you soon.